Okay, here we are working on homework for order of operations, day 2. We've done a few problems probably in class, and if I overlap the problems, I apologize. It's sometimes hard to predict what we're going to cover in class and what we don't. I'm going to start with number 4. Number 4 is a basic order of operations problem that sometimes tricks people up a little bit. It looks like it shouldn't. It looks pretty straightforward, but it definitely has, let me circle number 4. That's number 4, the problem number, and here's the problem. It has some elements in it that tend to, if we go in a hurry, we get out of order. So it's 24 minus 9 times 2 plus 6 divided by 3. Using PEMDAS, we know that we're going to have to start with the multiplication and the division first and then go from there. So if you go too quick, you might overlook that. All right, so our first step is I'm going to underline the multiplication, and I'm going to go ahead and underline the division as well, since they're on the same level of the PEMDAS. So we have 24 minus 9 times 2 is 18 plus 6 divided by 3 would be 2. After getting off to a good start, now this problem is subtraction and addition, going from left to right. PEMDAS, some kids get confused when they say, well, A comes before S, so I have to add before subtract. Well, we covered it in class, and we said that addition and subtraction are actually same level, so you're going to do whichever one happens first, left to right. And in this case, subtraction comes first. So we're going to go in here and, give me a pen. 24 minus 18 is 6, and then we're going to add 2 to that and get an answer of 8. So check number 4 in your homework. Hopefully you have 8 and you're off to a good start. All right, flipping over to the back side of the worksheet, number 12. Once again, let me circle the problem number. Got those a little too close. All right, number 12 is a little intimidating because it has the fraction bar, has a pretty big numerator, a numerator here that has several components to it, and a denominator with an exponent in it, and several pieces as well. So that's intimidating. So we're going to start by discussing once again what we remember from last week, saying that when we have a fraction bar in the problem, we need to remember to do all of the numerator and all of the denominator separately as if it's invisible parentheses. So I'm going to start with the numerator and going to get a color here. I'm going to go with the parentheses in the numerator. So I have 5 parentheses times 16 minus 5 is 11. So 5 times 11 minus 1. And that looks a little scary in itself because I have double parentheses. 5 times 11 is 55 minus 1, which is 54. So the entire numerator has become 54. The denominator, let me switch colors. We'll do that in a different color. We'll do the denominator in green. The denominator was 4 squared minus 7. 4 squared is 4 times 4, 16, minus 7. 16 minus 7 is 9. So that's what our whole denominator became, reduced down to 9. So 54 divided by 9, because once again, a fraction, I'm going to say this so many times this year, a fraction represents a division. It's a quotient. It represents a ratio. It represents different things. But when it comes right down to it, it's a division problem. 54 divided by 9 is what it represents. So our answer to this problem would be 54 divided by 9, which is 6. So number 12 is 6. Okay, scrolling later in this page, it gives you a bunch of variables. Now, variables are a representation of things that could vary, but in this case, they give us what the variable's value should be. In other words, it says substitute and evaluate. So x is going to be 8, y is 6, m is 3, p is 1/2, and n is 3/4. Ooh, fractions. All right, so we're not going to be petrified of this. We're going to start plugging in and evaluating. So on 13, we're going to rewrite, first of all. I have so many of my students that want to do this in their head, and I get that temptation, especially our higher level students. I understand how you want to do that, but early in the year, we need to practice writing out the steps. So 13, I'm going to start by writing 4 times 8, because x is represented by 8, minus 2 times m, and in this case, m is 3. Then we step into our order of operations, doing our multiplication, which is twice in this problem. So we're going to do multiplication. 4 times 8 is 32, minus 2 times 3 is 6, getting a final result of, let's see, 26. So number 13 should be 26. Let's scroll down to 15. 15 looks pretty tough. Let's go with 15. Let's plug in our values for 15. nxy divided by n. That means we're going to go up here. Here's the problem I'm on. I need to go up and find the n value. Where's the n? Ooh, 3/4. Going to put it here. Then we've got to get the x value, bring it down. Then the y value and bring it down. And then finally, after the y value, we'll need the m value and bring it down. So I'm going to start by doing that. I have to write those values in. Let's see. All right, so n, we decided, was 3/4. So I have to start with a fraction. 3/4 times x, which is 8. If you want to put it 8 over 1, because we're starting with a fraction, no problem. 8 over 1 is the same thing as 8. Times y. Y value is 6. I'm going to put 6 over 1 there. And then it's going to be divided by m, which is 3. All right, so my next part of this problem is to multiply. I need to multiply. The only operations we have are multiply and divide. So in the order of operations, they're on the same level. So we're just going to go left to right and simplify. So if I start this problem, I'm going to go with 3/4 times 8 over 1. One of the skills you learned last year in 6th, and hopefully maybe a little in 5th as well, is to go in and cross-simplify on a multiplication of fraction. So 4 goes into 4 once, and 4 is a factor of 8 2 times. So I'm allowed to simplify right here, and this problem really becomes 3 times 2, which is 6. So now I have 6 times 6 over 1, which is 6, divided by 3. So I kind of ditched the 6 over 1 because I don't need it. I don't need to put it as a fraction form anymore because luckily it canceled down to be integer values instead of fractions. All right, so now we have 6 times 6, which is 36, divided by 3, giving us our final answer of 12. I need to get a different color. 12. All right, so that's 15. I need to clear my board, and I'll do 16 for you. 16 looks a little intimidating, so let's do 16. Let's see if I can move this guy. Yeah, 16 would be the best one to do. So let me clear this out and get my eraser. Maybe. There we go. Well, it's actually not letting me. Let's see. There we go. I'm still learning the process here. Here we go. 16. I'm going to need the values, though. Let's see. Let's get it in the spot where I can see it. All right, so we need to plug in. I'm going to write right above them, and then I'll zoom out. Maybe if I can get this pen to work. All right, so x in this case, our x value is going to be 8. So I'm going to replace 2 parentheses 3 times 8 plus 6 divided by parentheses 10 times n, 10 times, and m is 3. So remember, the first step of all this is to replace the variables with the value we've been told for each variable. So now that we've done that, and it's a little sloppy, I'm sorry. I'm still working out the kinks. So if I'm going to go to my sets of parentheses, do those first. I'm going to have 2 parentheses, 24 plus 6 divided by 10 times 3 is 30. So I'm not quite done with the first set of parentheses. I haven't simplified fully. So it's going to be 2 times 30 divided by 30. Oh, I can see where the common mistake here is going to be to jump and to do that 30 divided by 30 because it looks easy. You need to do the order left to right with multiplication and division. Let me say it again. Multiplication and division are the same level of function in the order of operations. So when they both occur in a problem at this level, you're going to have to do them, whichever happens first, left to right. So right here you have multiplication before you have division, so you must do this first. All right. So 2 times 30 is 60, and then 60 divided by 30 is 2. Well, you would have gotten the same answer, even if you'd done it the wrong way, but that's okay. All right, so we've done it correctly, and we end up with the answer of 2. 2 times 30 was 60, and 60 divided by 30 is 2. I think that once you get into these problems, you see that, you know what, they're not as hard as you might have thought. I'm trying to see if there's anything else in here. I'm sure the ones with the fractions. I've not worked this worksheet completely. Let's see, n is 3/4. Well, I've worked it, but it's been a year. 17 has the fraction in it. Anything with an n or a p. So let's go down to 19 because that's got an p value is 1/2 and the n value is 3/4. So let's go with that. P value is 1/2, n value is 3/4. Let's take a look there. So 6 times 1/2 plus 8 times 3/4. So what I've done on my first step is I said, all right, the p value given to me in the original directions said that it was the value should be 1/2. So I've plugged in 1/2 for the letter p, and then n was to be 3/4. So I've replaced the n with 3/4. And these fractions look scary. You know, when you first see them, you're like, oh, not fractions already. But in this case, they're actually, they're pretty straightforward. This problem is not as tough as you might first think. So if I go in here and I want to make my 6/1, so they're both fractions, and I cross simplify. 2 goes into 6, how many times? 3. So I'm taking out the common factor of 2, and I get 3 times 1, which is 3. Plus, let's go ahead and do this part over here, this multiplication of 8 times 3/4. How many times does 4 go into 8? Twice. So now I have 2 times 3, which is 6. So all those scary fractions actually comes out to be 3 plus 6, which is 9. So I'm trying to help you guys see that the fear of fractions is unnecessary. Usually at this level, when we put them in, they simplify pretty decently. So hopefully that's helpful for your homework. I'm trying not to get too long-winded here, and I apologize for some of the graphics. I'm still working out the kinks. So hopefully it's helpful for students and parents alike. If you guys need any tutoring, don't forget I'm in the mornings on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and after school on Mondays and Wednesdays. Good luck. We'll see you in class. Bye.